Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. MC-Mura here, and in today's video we are gonna be talking about how you can learn a new character in Guilty Gear Strive. And this is pretty much there to get you started with the basics. Let's say you find a certain character interesting but you're not really sure where or how to start. That is pretty much the video for you. The first thing obviously you wanna do is to check out training mode. Let's here pick out someone at random and see what we can do. It gave us ship. I don't want to do a character I already did. Obviously I released a ship guide already, so I know what I'm doing with ship. Eno. Alright, like let's check out Eno, why not, right? And let's pick another character, and for that one I do think I should go for Kai. Either Kai or Soul. I think these are the two characters that you wanna use for a training dummy, but let's say Kai for now. One of the good things about Strive in general is that a lot of the characters toolkit, at least motions wise, they are pretty standard. And what I mean by that is, for example, you know it's gonna be, say, for the command normals, they're gonna be 6P or 6K or 6H, right? Like you know that these are gonna be the command normals. So obviously the very first thing you wanna do is to check out the command list, and hey, we have a 6P and we have a 6H, right? Here is telling you that obviously all 6Ps we know are anti-air, so it's telling you that this is an attack with an upper body invincibility. It's a good way to stop jumpings. One of the best things about Strive is the fact that there is actually a good description here and a demo that's playing that's showing you how to use that attack. So now, for example, we know that 6P is an anti-air. If he's gonna jump, this obviously will anti-air him, so that is pretty good. Now at least we have a basic anti-air down. Now let's say, for example, we check then 6H, and let's check out the description for it. It's 2-hit attack with a fast startup. The first comes out quickly but has short reach, while the second stretches further. This is pretty much telling you that this attack is a combo attack for the most part, right? Like you're gonna be doing stuff like that with it, and that is fine. Next up, you're supposed to look at the character movement. Now Eno is a little bit weird because she doesn't really have a conventional dash or a conventional air dash. Her movement in general is pretty unorthodox. She is one of the trickier character, but for example, I used to play Morrigan in Marvel, so I'm pretty familiar with the style of mobility in general and how she functions. But let's say, for example, that you wanna check out her dash, right? Or you wanna check out the general mobility, you'll find that she does have a dash. Her dash is kind of like a hop, right? It's not terribly fast, but it puts her in an airborne state, and if you happen to attack, you get a jumping attack. That is pretty interesting. Certainly means that if you just do it, you can then get a low. This is instantly giving you the idea that you can do an instant air jumping attack like that, or an empty low, right? So an empty low or an instant jump. Typically on most characters, you know that jumping kick is it gatlings into the jumping dust, so that is pretty nice. Obviously you can experiment with that stuff later, but you get the idea, right? And does she have any cancelable air specials? We know, for example, that okay, Chemical Love is an air special, so like this is a 2-hit, so you can do like something like this. At least for basics, you want to understand like how this might work, right? This is obviously a fireball, and this is like the dive kick. So at least now we have some basics on what we want to do. At least we understand the basic mobility. In the air, when you dash, she moves downward, which again is pretty interesting. You can double jump and then dash. All of this is data that you will need for later. So we now know our command normals. Let's check out the special moves, right? The special moves is gonna tell you like this is the fireball, a projectile that has slow startup but number of hits increase as time passes. By inputting up, down, or whatever, you get to move it. So it's telling you that once you actually release the fireball, if you do up or down, you pretty much get to control it. Just by fighting game's logic, a fireball that is slow like that is obviously an OK tool, right? Like this is obviously an OK tool. So it is obvious that the idea here is that you want to knock your opponent down and then use this fireball to pressure them on wake up. Now one of the good things again about Strive is the fact that the combo routes are very universal in general. So this means that if I'm doing punches, I will only get to punch into 6P, right? Or like the command normals in general. So it's like you can do jab into 6B or 6H and then follow up from there. We know that this is the standard, right? We also know that the close slash goes into the 2D, and the kicks they go into 2D as well, right? So at least this is some good data that we know, right? So typically it is pretty obvious that this is what you want to do, right? Like I think even without like a lot of preconceived notion, it's obvious that you want to knock them down, that you want to then cancel into the fireball and then go for an overhead or an empty low, right? Like this is the basic game plan for Eno, right? Anyways, after the fireball, let's check out the chemical love. It's saying this is a projectile that has strikes forward, it's a good poke at mid-range. Here it's even telling you that it's a good poke at mid-range. So now we know that this is a good poke at mid-range. Obviously from our experiment earlier, we know that this is a combo, so that is pretty good. Now at least from the jabs or the punches, we have an idea of what we can end our combos with, right? It is pretty fast and it's pretty reliable as a combo ender. That is pretty cool. Strokes a bit 3, this is a dive kick or like the command dash thing. This is pretty interesting. It's telling you here that it avoids how high attack. Now, one of the good things that I must actually recommend if you are checking out Strive is the website called Dustloop. Here, strokes the big 3. Yes, it does have a high like a low profile stuff, but this isn't why this move is good. There is a website called Dustloop. So let's, for example, here check out Eno, Dustloop, and Guild Strive, for example. I don't think we have to type the whole thing, right? Dustloop is a fantastic website because it will give you a lot of information that you will need on how to use the characters. It will give you a good description from the playstyle to the moves, the frame data on each of them, you'll even find like a detailed description on everything. You will find combos. You will find pretty much everything. So let's, for example, check out the overview, right? Here it's telling us that her pros, she have a hover dash, that is pretty nice. Sultry performance, that is a dive kick. Give a unique movement option along with hover dash. Strokes a big 3, this is like the I'm gonna call it the electric kind of thing that she does, the wave dash. Also give a way around most high pokes, and she have good mix-ups, right? And the cons is that her hover dash means that it's harder for her to approach the opponent. Chemical love or strokes a big deal. Like she does need to rely on something gimmicky to kind of open people up, and she doesn't have big damage. So now at least we have a good idea on the pros and cons. The best thing here is that again it's giving you a very detailed description on everything that you need, to be honest. Now one of the cool things here is that it's even telling you information about, like, let's say each attack. Here this is the 5P, the 5K, the close slash. What you want to do at first is you want to check out the startup. Here it's telling you that the 5P is 5 frame startup, but whiffs on crouchers. You have to make sure that you read this. Typically what you want to do as well is that as soon as you actually start, is check out if the typically 5P is the fastest attack for most characters, but like we seen, this whiffs on crouchers, so that sucks. So let's check out what are her other attacks, what are his other attacks that's actually the fastest. This is 5 frames, 5K is 7 frames, that is pretty slow, 7 frames. Far slash is 13, 5H is 16, 9, 7 startup for actually the first hit, that's not bad. 2P is 6 frames, so this is the fastest attack we found so far, and 2K is the fastest attack. So now we know that 2P and 2K, both of them are her fastest attacks at 7 frames. Or at 6 frames. It's telling you that this isn't particularly useful. It is identical to 2K while having worse reward. Like it's even here telling you what you should do. So now we know that these are our faster attacks. So if we're in a pinch, 5K and our 2P and 2K, these are our fastest attacks, right? So let's say, for example, what rewards can I get from this? Alright, now I know that this combos. Obviously 2K you can't really do much, but you will wanna do 2K into 2D, I'm gonna assume, or 2K into 6H. and then get some follow-ups, right? So that is pretty nice. At least now we have an idea. So we know that if we like want to mesh something, or if we want to challenge, 2K and 2P is our best friend. Obviously 2P seems to have low range, while 2K seems to be the much superior option. So this is what we're gonna be using, right? Now generally, like we said, a lot of the get links are very standard. You do know, like close slash into forward slash into heavy slash, this is probably gonna be a get link. So now that we know that this is pretty much the standard thing, let's have the opponent block and let's practice our get links. What can we do to make the opponent challenge? So you go to the counter attack settings, make your opponent, for example here, challenge with his standing punch, and let's say that he's gonna attack everything and he's gonna stand, right? I don't want him to be blocking, right? So Kai is gonna block everything. Does my close slash to forward slash frame trap? Obviously I have to delay it a little bit. Seems like it's either a tight block string or a... No, it seems like we can actually get it to Alright, so at least it seems like the forward slash to heavy slash is a frame trap if your opponent try to mash. That's pretty good to know. I'm gonna assume that you will go into the heavy wave dash from that one. Right, and obviously you get the stun. So at least now that we have some ideas. Does the close slash into 6 or 6H frame trap? This looks like a true block string, maybe with a delay. Seems like you can delay it enough to actually get it. Obviously the idea here is that you wanna experiment, right? It's about figuring stuff out. Does like 5K into this work? Again, seems pretty difficult to get actually. Alright, how about the 2S? 2S obviously won't go into that, but it will go into the forward slash. Seems like the frame trap options in general are not very powerful, right? It seems like it's very easy to either make it go to a block string or just completely so it seems like the best thing here is to either go for like the mix-up, but the block string options and the staggers, they don't seem very amazing to me, at least. Right, seem kinda slow actually. But I'm gonna assume that you can do a lot of that into the wave dash. Alright, so that's pretty interesting. Obviously this is how you want to experiment, right? Like make the opponent block, try things out and see what you can do. And obviously you will take a look at these attacks, figure out which attacks are the ones that you're gonna use. Again, pretty good description here on everything. And one of the best things here is that it also have a very descriptive combo section, right? So it's like let's check out the combo section here. Obviously after you check out the normals, you want to check out the special moves as well, right? And the supers and all of that. And like for example here is telling you that stroke the pick 3. This is actually the most, it's telling you here that this is the most essential pressure tool, that the heavy version is +2 on block. So that is where a lot of your pressure will come from. Your opponent have to throw you out of it. So it's like it's telling you a lot. Obviously you wanna get a look at this as well. It's honestly like a fantastic website. I can't express enough how important it is to actually use it. And here you will see the combo list, and maybe if you're not really familiar with the notation, some of them actually have videos. Like this will actually have a video here that's showing you how to do it, right? Showing you what it is, right? So this is a fantastic tool. Now we know that this is what he means, is that he's telling you crouching kick into the sweep, into the fireball, and then it's even saying setup afterwards, so you know that this is like your setup tool, right? And honestly that is pretty much how I do it. You experiment with some of this stuff. At least check out Dustloop, get a good idea on what you want to do, and then try to experiment with it and take it steps further. If you have enjoyed this video, please leave a like or a comment. It helps the channel so much. I will be leaving a link to the Patreon server page or the Patreon page and the Discord server page in the description below. Thank you very much for watching and stay safe.